What's up, everybody? How's it going? Cheers. Today, we're doing a Prairie Fresh pork butt. I love these Prairie Fresh ones. You can always find them at Walmart, you know, sometimes Homeland. I don't know. But they're really, really good. They're really, really tender. And they're really, really hard to screw up. So for pulled pork, we got a birthday party, actually 2 birthday parties and a graduation party tonight. Got a ton of people coming over, need to feed a ton of people. So I'm just gonna make a shit ton of pulled pork. So let's get this thing open. Let's get it seasoned. Okay, so I'm going fat side up with this thing to start out with. I got a really sharp knife. I'm just gonna take some of this fat off the top of it. I'm trying to multitask, so sometimes the glove allows me to not have to run in and rinse my hands off. I mean, this fat is really good, but I don't know, I just want to expose that meat underneath. It's a nice chunk of fat. I want to expose that meat underneath to the seasoning and to the smoke. Even though fat does hold smoke really well, I just want to, I don't know, nobody really wants a mouthful of fat, I don't think. And you could do this at the end, but again, I want to season that meat. And I'm just gonna go until I can kind of see the meat underneath. And again, you totally don't have to do this step. Matt Pittman from Meat Church has a really, really good video on making a pork butt. So if you want like barbecue science, go watch his video, the Meat Church video on smoking a pork butt. That's kind of, I made a few back in the day, and then I saw his video, and now I just kind of stick to doing it like he does it. And that's the cool thing about barbecue or beer making or whatever you're doing at home. Oh, that's a nice hard piece of fat. Or whatever you're doing at home, just do some research, watch some videos, and it's really easy to replicate all of this stuff in your own backyard, on your own pit. I'm not gonna get it all. I don't care to get it all. I like the flavor that comes from a little bit of fat. And there's gonna be some regardless, but I got a good portion of it. Oh yeah, that's a nice hard piece of fat. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's a lot of fat. A lot of people put this in a pan, render it down throughout the cook. I'm not gonna do anything with it today. I know some of you will say that's an egregious waste. Sometimes, you know. Good beer. Okay. We're gonna slather this in mustard. I don't always use a binder. Just helps the seasoning adhere to the meat. Don't always do it. I'm gonna do it today. Again, I'm kind of doing all of this Meat Church style today. He always references being from the South and how it's very nostalgic for him to use mustard as a binder. Well, none of this is nostalgic for me because growing up, my dad didn't really barbecue a lot. He did some cooking out on the little dad charcoal grill, you know, but that was about the size of it. Oh yeah. Nice big chunk of meat. And again, this thing is really hard to screw up. Just follow some basic tips and guidelines and you're not gonna screw up a pork butt. Anything hanging off the side of it, you might trim up a little bit so it doesn't burn on the smoker. Okay. Big old chunk of meat. Slap that butt in the summertime and in the wintertime. These things are good all year round. Okay, so I'm gonna put the seasoning on it, let it sweat out for about 15 minutes here, and then we'll get it on the smoker. Okay, so we're gonna cook this at 275 today. We're cooking with pecan. Got that nice Texas perfume wafting over here. Today, I'm gonna season with the gospel like I normally do. Old Matt Pittman calls it the best color in barbecue, and I tend to agree with him. Now, this one, I've been shaking it through the smaller holes, and it's not coming out. You know how some moisture gets in there sometimes, and it makes it hard to get anything. Actually, it's doing pretty good today. I was gonna say I have been opening it to the spoon because we season liberally around here. Just makes it come out a little easier. You're not gonna over season this. When I eat people's meat who don't season liberally or don't season well at all, I just have a complaint, you know? You gotta season this thing, every bit of it. This thing can be kind of a bear to wrestle when it's slippery, when it's wet, fat, wet butt. It's about to be a fat, sweaty butt because this seasoning is going to pull a lot of that moisture out because it has high salt content. God dang. The flies have come to join us, of course. My wife insisted that I get this little table so I can cook out in the backyard, so I don't F up the kitchen every single time I cook. And I tend to agree with her because I like cooking outside. But I'm gonna take issue with these flies. It's just part of it though. Okay, so we got every bit of this meat nice and seasoned. Oh yeah. Nice big seasoned hunk of meat. And I'm gonna let it sit. I'm gonna go fat side down because that's how I'm gonna cook it. I'm gonna let it sit out here for, you know, 15, 20, 25 minutes because all that moisture, or a lot of the moisture, it's just gonna sweat out. And yeah, so I'm gonna come back. We're gonna throw this thing on the grill at 275 and we're gonna smoke it there for 5 or 6 hours. I am gonna use a water pan today. I'm gonna do some beer and some apple juice because I like the flavor of apple juice in my meat. Nice subtle hint, not that there will be any with a water pan, but I also like cooking with beer, and this gives me a really good excuse, really good point to do it. So we'll come back, get our water pan going, we'll get this baby on, and we'll get ready to celebrate some birthdays and some graduations later. Be right back. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes. We got our grill up to 275. Time for the water pan. Just because, you know, like if you're out in the backyard and you're hanging out, you need music, which I don't have going right now, and you need some beer. Put a little bit of apple juice in there because chef's kiss. It's been about 20 minutes. You can see the the butt's nice and sweaty right now. The salt content of my rub has pulled a lot of that moisture out. It's adhered. It's nice. It's looking fat. Looking tasty. Tasty already somehow. I'm gonna get this thing on the smoker at 275. I'm gonna let it smoke for 5-6 hours at 275 till it gets a nice bark on it. That's the main thing I'm looking for. But the internal temp will be around 160, 165 when I pull it off to wrap it. Okay, just throwing it on, set it, and forget it. 5-6 hours. I'll probably spray a couple times. I usually mix up in my spray bottle a 1-to-1 ratio of apple cider vinegar and apple juice. I'll hit it a couple times throughout the cook, you know, once after the first couple hours, maybe an hour or two later, I'll hit it again with the spray bottle. But you do what you want on that. The water pan ought to help keep some nice moisture in the smoker. So yeah, let's get this baby on. Let's cook. Cheers. Okay, so it's been a couple, 2.5 hours. Let's take a look at the pork. We're gonna give it a little shot of apple cider vinegar and apple juice. Oh yeah. It's a big old hunk of meat. Just gonna spray her till she's wet. Got our nice bath over here. Alright, spray her till she's wet. Alright. So we got the meat up to 160 degrees. Cheers, everybody. What's up, everybody? How's it going? What we need to do now, since we're using some brown sugar, I've used the Honey Hog barbecue before. I'm gonna use the Honey Hog hot. Since we're doing the brown sugar, it's already gonna have some sweetness. I'm gonna be very liberal with this. I'm not gonna take it easy. And all of this is going to run down into the juice, which we're gonna pour back over it after we shred it later on. Some butter. Always butter. Always butter. Got some people showing up. I feel like I should have woken up a little earlier, so I feel like I'm behind. That's okay. So just butter, brown sugar, some extra rub. Obviously use whatever kind of rub you want. I tend to stick to the meat church these days. Then we're just gonna cover it. We're gonna throw it back in at 275 where we've been cooking it all day. It's probably got another 2 hours because, like I said, the meat's up to, when I get it up to 160-ish. So when it cooks for a couple more hours, it'll cook faster in the foil, obviously. So a couple more hours, I'm gonna cook it to 203 or until it's probe tender. And pull it off, shred it up, pull it. I'm gonna use my bear claws, and that'll be it. Cheers, everybody. All right. All right, it's a barbecue, so you know we got to get a bean going. I like the Bush's grilling beans a lot. The Southern Pit barbecue. I mean, what's a barbecue without baked beans? Some nice smoked beans. Love a good bean. Kids playing in the sprinklers already. Like I said, I'm behind. I feel like I'm running behind. But you know, usually, I don't know, when I go somewhere, it never hurts my feelings if I have to wait a little bit for dinner. You know, get a couple drinkies in, just chill. Oh yeah. I might overflow this thing. I'm not gonna put them in quite yet. Not everybody's here. Kind of meandering around, so I'll just get them ready to go, and then when it's time, I can throw them on. Right. And these, when it's time, will be ready to go in, minus the plastic top, of course. Cheers.
This recipe is Amanda's. I made this up myself, so we can put that in.
All right. So it's 6:45, the meat's up to 203 degrees. Everybody's hungry, and I knew I should have woke up earlier, but I didn't, and that's okay. Let's take a look at this. Oh my God. Yeah, so it's obviously got to rest for a while. I'm gonna see how long these people can put off eating. I'm gonna let it rest here for, I don't know, I like to give it an hour, but probably let it rest for 30, 45 minutes, and then I'm gonna come back and pull it. See you then.
203, I bet.
203.
Really? That went pretty fast. Are you gonna do the shred?
I'm gonna let it rest.
Yeah.
Okay, so we let the meat rest about a half hour. It's kind of minimum, but it's gonna be really good. I'm going to pull this bone out, see if it comes out. Nice. Yeah. I'm going to pour the jus into our fat separator here. I'm gonna let the fat separate out of it, since all this meat's probably gonna be eaten tonight, and then I'm gonna pour it back over the top. Usually, you pour it through the top of the strainer. I didn't do it because I forgot. So I'm just gonna shred this up. We're gonna make some sandwiches. So I got it shredded. It's a pretty coarse shred. I tend to do it that way. You can see how the fat kind of goes to the top and separates out. So I'm just gonna pour the jus from the bottom, just to kind of give us some more flavor here. Don't want to lose any of that. Keep some of the fat out of it at least. All that butter I put in it. Hell of a mess. Okay, I think we're gonna call it good. Let's give us a bite here. I'm not gonna make a full sandwich, I just want to taste the pork. That'll do. Cheers, everybody. About to party. The Malibu jug is a pretty heavy pour on it, so if we don't remember this night, This will be our reminder right here what we actually did here today. Cheers, everybody.